G'day, my name's Adrian Brain. You might have seen me on a few of Matt's and Holly's episodes travelling around. And today we're going to talk about my new build, 4080. So the car body is a 1984 HJ47 sitting on a 1990 80 series chassis with a bit of fruit in there. We have a 1HD FT, so the FT, not the FTE that's manualised back, 40 plus injectors, red wheel, turbo. So the aim for this build was, obviously we had Bertha, the big tourer. We wanted a more capable four-wheel drive for tougher tracks, but still being able to tour. So it was a hard sort of setup to get the room you need for touring, but having a very capable rig and the things you've got to let go of and the things you can include to adapt that into one sort of build. And I think after this sort of shakedown run that we've had through the desert, up to the Cape, the Creb, we think we've nailed everything to the T, just a couple of little tweaks, and yeah. This Frankenstein, in a sense, has always been a thought in the back of my head from many years ago, before I knew of anyone doing 4080 conversions, is to have the best looking body that Toyota ever done, the best chassis combination being coiled all round, and FT being, I think, the best engine. Obviously FTEs are very good, but I like the simplicity of mechanically driven pumps and just combining all the best bits of Toyota into one dream build. We've now clocked just over 10,000 Ks on the fresh build. We caught up with Matt and Hole in the Simpson, so we had a little run through the Simo, tested that, and then proceeded all the way up into Queensland, up into the Daintree, did the Creb track, and then up into Cape York. The block is a 1HD FT. The cylinder head is an FTE because you can't get FT cylinder heads anymore. And then you've got FTE pistons in that as well. It's running a G-Turbo red wheel, 40 plus injectors, McKinnon's Customs airbox, piping to soup, a big front mount intercooler. And also with packaging that, the radiator is actually in the back because there's not enough room to fit a radiator in the bay. The pump's been done, it's a 12mm pump, custom built by ADS in Mariba. Currently we've got it sitting at 250 horsepower, about 550 Newton meters at the rear. That we're finding is a nice, good touring sort of package. The potential for more power is easily done. We can wind it back up. I think that turbo can go up to 38 pound. We're currently running only 25. So it's a nice, safe, just comfortable tune at the moment until we set everything in, and then we can wind it up for a bit more fun. That engine is married to a H152, so your 79 or 70 series gearbox, brand new from Toyota. That's bolted onto a H1FA, so the part-time transfer case, same as a 70 series and a few other models. Through that goes to GJ driveline, so custom drive shafts off to your 80 series diffs. We're still running 80 series diffs, centers, ARB air lockers front and back. It's had a stud upgrade on the rear, so your oversized rear studs, because they're one of the things to break. Sort of going on to sort of suspension with that. It's flipped radius arms in the front, so you can adjust, so you're really correcting that caster angle from lifting a vehicle. It's only a 3-inch lift all round. We're not looking for the car to be high, we're just looking for travel. And in that, we're running 12-inch superior shocks. So we've got a lot of droop in that. To keep that all together, we've got LCS, they make a custom torsion bar setup. So that's our sway bar. And we're running Savvy Weld, all 70, 75 alley links throughout, and a bit of superior gear down the back, which we will be changing the upper and controller arms to LCS's 70-75 alley. So tyre and wheel package, we're looking at we've got the ROH Zulo. They're a hybrid rim. Currently at the moment, we are still running the imitation beadlock. On them for rubber, we have Falcons, Wild Peak RTs. We are testing them for Falcon and they are pretty good. So coils, we're running Dobson coils, and matched in with that, we're also running their Hydro bump stops front and rear as a nice soft compression. How it's all packaged drives phenomenally better than our 79. Obviously 79s, once you start doing a bit of work to them, they a bit of a pig to get in control unless you spend a lot of money, and our previous 79 had a lot of things done to it, but this is way better on the road and off the road in travel. Travel, comfort, everything. It's just all round walks all over a 79. So when we get stuck, we are running a big high mount winch that you can see. That's from the High Mount guy down in Melbourne. It is a Canopy Vito. It's a Croatian winch. Basically, it's an oversized drum high mount winch. It's air braked, 2 speeds, so by the flick of a switch, you can increase the ratio and of line pull. So I think first gear is around 17% overdrive on a standard high mount, and second gear is 55% increase on a standard high mount. Quick winch, we're still running at 12 volt. Down the track, we may flick it over to 24 if we want to get faster, and we need all the goods to go with that. We've opted for Saber's gear. We've got Saber's rear recovery, their winch hook, and all their recovery gears that sit in destination 4-drive bags and our saddle bags on the side. Just easy to get to those recovery things and gear that you can rely on. There's actually a soft shackle that lives on the transfer shifter on the inside, just so you can grab it really easy and get into those recoveries. We found on our last build, we used to put our recovery gear, and I won't say the brand of that recovery gear, it used to be down low in our side boxes, which is, you think, a good logical spot, but how many times have you put your recovery gear down low, haven't got it out, thinking, oh, I'll get through that fine, and you can't get it. So up there on our rear swing away, it's perfect to get to. Anyone can grab it while the car's in any position. Not that we hope that we're going to get stuck. And that's one of the things we found on our last trip. The 79s make things look very dramatic because they're always on 3 wheels, sometimes 2 wheels. We put it through everything that we could point it at the Cape, and on camera it just makes it look pretty tame. So yeah, you can take on the hard ones. That's bolted to a slightly modified McKinnon's front bar to house the oversized drum of that winch. That all links into 40 NB tubing all around the whole car for, as you can see, on the tube guards, side steps, rear tube. The rear canopy on the back, always wanted that sort of, to tie in with the style side, it needed to be canvas. It needed to have that sort of old look to it. But what it doesn't show inside that is actually a front and rear fabricated roll cage. So that goes down to the chassis. It's all chassis mounted, so we can lean up against anything and stay in one piece. 40 series roofs and their body aren't the strongest. So if we lid it, we should be okay. In cab, we've taken our Stratos suspension seats from our previous, from Bertha, mounted them in a 40 series, which is a very tight fit. We love those seats, the comfort they give us with touring. Obviously we've put some aircon in this thing because 40s can be a bit warm, but the aircon's really good. We just keep it simple in the sense of inside the car, just running some red arc gauges for engine monitoring, a Garmin XL Overland tablet for our mapping and stuff like that. And of course a GME in-cab radio, and we do have a little handpiece for when someone's on the winch. All of it we sort of control through a Switch Pro setup. That's how we start the car. Obviously with that high mount winch, we have a lot of air solenoids with free spooling, braking, second gear. So we've just got a nice little neat Switch Pro to control all our buttons rather than putting heaps of button switches or rocker switches all through a 40 series dash and chopping it up. With the consideration for touring in this car and other builds we've had before, one of our biggest things was weight, trying to keep weight down first and foremost. I think that's what everyone struggles with touring and 4-driving, is keeping your weight down. We don't run a GVM upgrade on this, so weight is of a essence. But also with weight is space, being creative on your space. If you've got the biggest space in the world, you're gonna fill it, and then you're gonna have weight problems. So it's keeping your setup in a small, compact sort of setup, so ultimately keeping your weight down. So we've kept it pretty simple. We just have 2 Marketplace Facebook buy drawers in the back, Bushman's upright fridge, and a bed in there. But with the length of the tub, we couldn't sleep lengthways in that, so I created a fold down sort of out of an old soft shell rooftop tent, so we sleep across tub. Being a canvas on a style side tub that's 40 years old. There's a lot of holes, which we've attempted to seal up, but any canvas sort of canopy, or canopy for that matter on the back of a ute, dust ingress is always a problem. So one of the things for this build, which I wanted to try and concoct up, is a positive pressure system for that. So we have a pre-filter on the roof, which runs down to an airbox and a bilge blower fan that we can actually turn on inside the car when we come up to a dusty road to force positive pressure that rear canopy, but have it done with filtered air so that we know the air that's going in there is clean for those big bull dust holes that we like to hit, and just keep it dust free in the back for our bedding and our cooking and so on. The test was on the end of the Creb track. It was quite dusty, a bit of bull dust, and we pulled up and we forgot that, oh geez, yeah, dust is an issue. We were so used to having no dust issues with our previous build with a trig point canopy that was very dust proof, but obviously canvas is a tough one. And yeah, it was so surprised at how clean it was in there. I expected a lot more. Camp setup in the back. Sleeping is a big thing. I think a lot of people forego it. It's sort of one of the last things to throw the swag in, and I like sleeping in the swag, but as I'm getting older, the back doesn't really like it as much. So with the bed that we've got in there, we actually have 200 mil of mattress. So it's actually more mattress than I've ever had in any touring setup. So we foregoed a little bit of space, but for comfort wise, it's really good. Moving on into that sort of camp setup, we run Destination 4 drives, 270 awning, and their bin bag. Rapper's products are just fantastic. And being the first build where we don't have a gull wing as a roof, having that wraparound awning and the access from the back of the vehicle for our living as such, just provides us that cover, and it's really good. For 12 volt on this, we've kept it relatively simple. Obviously with this high mount winch on the front, we have a lot of 12 volt batteries to run it. We actually run 2 Odyssey 1100 CCA batteries. So they are our main battery for this car. We run everything off them, and we also have a battery bank, which is a lithium battery bank inverter in one. That's how I have my coffee in the morning, and just as a bit of a backup for induction cooking, but we also still carry a jet boil and things like that. We've got a Bushman's 85 litre upright in the back. Love that fridge, worked really well in our last build, so it was a no-brainer to put it in this. I think it's the perfect size. 130 is a little bit big, and the 130 actually still runs the same compressor as an 85 does. So if you want less power draw and that compressor to be easy doing it in, the 85 seems the good choice for me. In the front, we love our console fridge. We're just running a second-hand Brass Monkey, I think it is, console fridge. It works, it's good. Will it get updated down the track? Probably, but I just love console fridges and run them as freezers. It's fantastic. On previous builds, we've only had 70 litres was our max water carrying. On a lot of the really remote stuff, we've found it was a little bit short. We always had a backup water source if our 70 litre failed. On this build, we've got a 90 litre tank in there, and on this sort of rundown trip, the test rundown trip, it has been fantastic having that little bit extra. Matt and Holly, it's a bit the same size as theirs. I was always jealous that they had a little bit of water, and we always had to fill up all the time, and just that extra 20 litres, wow, what a difference. On these remote sort of trips that we sort of built this for and what we sort of do, fuel is a big thing. So on this one, we're running 2 tanks. We've got a 100 litre main tank and a 70 litre sub tank. And to keep it simple and have less things to go wrong, the 70 litre tank sits above the 100, and there's just a simple valve to dump it into that 100 litre tank. It's just one less solenoid that can go wrong, and the whole point of this build is to be simplicity, so we can fix it when it breaks. Not if, when. Spares is a big one. We are taking a lot more spares than we normally would, especially being, you could say that everything is new, but that's when you do have a lot of things go wrong. You'll see in the photos and videos of this, every single bolt is texture marked or paint marked, so you can see if it's moving. That's a big thing for one, so we could check it for that was all good for engineering. This car's obviously engineered in every single component of it. So we run about, it's 55 kilos at the moment of tools and spares. So it's not too much. There's a lot of culling that happens there of, do I really need a socket set when I'm taking impact sockets? Things like that. Strip your kits down to what you actually really need. Chassis blasted, painted, strengthened where it needs to be, where the shortfalls are in 80s, especially around the steering box. centre crack there and things like that. So that's all done. So in a lot of the things have been ticked off. We still have some teething issues with various things of working out the best way of doing some things we got right, some things we didn't get quite right, but that's the joy of building a custom car, is you can have it how you want it, but you got to put in the work to get it there. A lot of people have said to me, obviously we had the car at Sydney show, are you going to paint it? I don't know what you're talking about. It's painted, that's paint. I don't want, sorry, bush wraps, but I don't want nice paint and have to try and look after it. The whole point of this is to make it easy and usable and use the car. Those tube guards on the front are 2 workbenches. You can throw your tools on there and not care. It just makes it, you're not worried about, oh, there's a stick, and it looks really good. It's just been basically penetroled over the whole thing. Once you get the desired rust effect you want, seal that in. There's a lot of custom fabrication on this car, to the point of panhard risers, things like that. Just when you're lifting a car, just get the geometry perfect. Like, I think this could be like a 2-hour talk of every little component, and they'll slowly come out over time of the little bits that we've done. But when people first look at the car, they think, oh, that's an oldie. And that's what I love. They don't look at what's actually done, but as soon as you put your head underneath, you get an idea of, hang on, that's not normally like that. I've driven an 80 series before, or hang on, I used to own a 40 series. They never used to have coils. And it's the people that sort of get into, have custom vehicles or have seen these models, they're the ones that go, just looks a little bit different. And then they ask you the questions, and end of the day, you're at every campsite talking about to everyone about what has happened to the car. Yeah. So we've already looking at some future things. A few things I want to tweak. One of those is those upper and lower control arms. You have flex in a coiled vehicle, you will chew through rubbers. So we're looking at LCS's, probably their 775 alley arms. They've got a Heim joint at one end, so you're really not overworking the bush. And probably shocks. The shocks that we have on there, those superior ones, they're a good long length shock, but we've historically had, I guess, higher end tunable shocks for those lower speed and higher speed control. And that's something that I'm missing in this car. Yeah. So now that we've finished my dream build, we just want to get out there and use it. We've got a lot of trips sort of coming up, bit of touring, and a bit more sort of harder, more challenging 4-drive trips in our sort of local area. Obviously, we're blessed here being at the footsteps of the Snowies. We're sitting in the winery here now. And so even today, we might even go for a little spin.